Almond cookies are very popular in Italy, and every region has its own version. But today I am jazzing mine up with blueberries. It happens to be Todd's favorite berry, so that's why we're adding it. I'm gonna start with my dry ingredients. We're gonna do 2 cups of flour. You wanna level off the flour because when you're baking, the measurements of the ingredients are very important to the type of cookie or cake you're gonna end up with. So 2 cups, just make sure you use your finger here to level it all off. Easy, right? Just like that. And I'm adding 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And the baking powder will help the cookies rise. And 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And it's funny, most people wonder, why do you add salt to a dessert or to a cookie? Because it brings out the flavors. You just want to mix this together, just like that, so it's all well blended. Okay, that's all done. Now it's time to cream the butter and the sugar together. So I'm gonna use 1 stick of unsalted butter. I'm also gonna use 1 cup of sugar, just regular granulated sugar. And we're gonna cream these 2 together. To get a really light, fluffy cookie, you wanna just dissolve all the sugar into the butter. I'm gonna add just 1 egg. And the egg acts as the binder. So that's why you're always adding eggs to cakes and cookies, because it really does bind the dough together. 1 egg, room temperature. And each time after each ingredient, you want to sort of scrape down the sides to make sure that everything's really blended well. Just like that. It's time for some lemon zest. And I love it because you bite into the cookies and you've got a little bit of tang and sweetness from the blueberries, but then you've got that little bite, clean flavor from the lemon zest. And really and truly, there's nothing like it. Perfect. And almond extract. So these are almond cookies. I gotta flavor them with something that's almondy. And I'm just gonna add 1 teaspoon. And you just have to be careful with almond extract because it's really strong. Mix those in. Nice. And now we're ready for a little bit of milk. So I'm gonna add 1/3 of a cup of milk. I love the milk. It just makes it so rich. I'm gonna start adding my dry ingredients, the flour, the baking powder, and the salt. And we're gonna add a little bit at a time. So a little bit at a time. And go slow because you don't wanna be covered in flour at this point. And you always want to add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. That way the addition is slow and you keep those light and fluffy cookies. And we'll add a little bit more. There we go. Definitely worth doing this in small little additions. The final product is going to be mouth-watering. I scoop it out with a little mini ice cream scooper so you get these little cookies. There we go. And see how smooth this dough is? Scraping down the sides, making sure that all the flour is in the dough. And there's the last bit. Mix those in. Perfect. We're ready to add the almonds. And I just have toasted chopped almonds here. Again, they have that little bit of crunch that I love. And that's 1/2 cup of toasted almonds. Mix that. Just a quick little mix. Perfect. And I'm just gonna scrape down the paddle. And now I'm gonna fold in the blueberries. Now the reason I'm folding them in is because I don't want them to break. I've thawed out my blueberries and drained them. So 1 cup, that way you get enough blueberries in every cookie. Just gently fold all of the blueberries. And you see these little bits of blueberries, see? Just like that, really pretty. Okay, I'm gonna cover this with plastic wrap and pop it in the fridge for 30 minutes, just so the dough can set. And then I'm gonna scoop it out and bake them off. They're gonna be so good. Now the dough is sat for 30 minutes and it's nice and firm, so it's perfect for me to start scooping. And I'm using just a mini ice cream scoop. That way I can control the size and all the cookies are gonna be exactly the same size. And I've lined my baking sheet with a Silpat. And a Silpat is basically a non-stick silicone baking sheet. And then bake them at 375 degrees for 15 minutes.